Bowery Poetry Club, Rattapallax, our producing partners. Since its founding, this place has been a sanctuary for poets, artists, and creators of all kind, a safe space where voices at the margins could rise, and where the heartbeat of New York's artistic soul continues to pulse. And we're so fortunate to gather here. And I just feel really happy here because this is the first place where I got to do a solo performance, and I've had the opportunity to come back here again and again to see performances. They have a wonderful weekly poetry slam, and they're really important, I would say, for New York and just for artists in this city. So I'd like to introduce this evening by introducing the creative force that is behind this program, and that's Ruchira Gupta. Ruchira is right there. And so in case you have not noticed, Ruchira is the author of The Freedom Seeker, the books that you see over there, and I Kick and I Fly. But she's also an Emmy-winning documentarian, founder of Apne Women Worldwide, and a lifelong advocate for ending sex trafficking. Her work has shaped global laws, earned her high civil honors, and continues to inspire us. In her books, Ruchira is seeing the world's conflicts through the eyes and hearts of young protagonists, like Hira in I Kick and I Fly, fighting with courage to reclaim her freedom, and Simi in what you will see today, The Freedom Seeker, navigating loss, separation, and hope across continents. Even in the toughest moments, her characters find strength in friendship and in stories passed down, reminders of resilience. Now, along with the story itself, bringing the Freedom Seeker out into the world has become sort of a movement. Ruchira is building a community with her book. There have been a lot of launches and readings and community gatherings. Books of Wonder have brought the books here for you to look at, to buy, to get them signed. Never a better opportunity than having the author amongst us to get that. She's had gatherings in Atlanta, the Carter Center, and with the Sikh Coalition. So there's a lot happening which is bringing different facets of groups and people together to tell this story. And she's going to continue on. She's very busy. And so if you are someone who can bring people together and do this, I think that today is a great day for you to be here and have that communication. So what I would like to say is that the slideshow, if you noticed at all, was actually videos that Ruchira took and photos from the Sonora Desert in Arizona, where she went in to document migrant realities firsthand. Alongside, you may have seen some drawings and paintings, which are also extension of that experience. So we wanted to show those here. So tonight, we will be presenting an excerpt from The Freedom Seeker with two of my very dear fellow artists, and Natalia Perlaza, who will be giving us sound. And we will be engaging in a conversation with Ruchira after that. We are inviting you to ask questions and talk with us. We're also inviting you to take part in an open mic after this performance. And there is no bounds to what you'd like to come and do. Come speak or come, sing a song or do tap dancing. But just share. Feel free to share. Feel free to tell us what you think freedom means to you, or what you would like for freedom to mean for everyone in this world. So that's the program essentially for tonight. And I'm so glad that you're here. If someone really likes your performance, you may win a free copy of The Freedom Seeker. If you already bought one, you can gift it to a family or friend. So that's competition. We'll be so happy to just have you share. So to open our hearts for tonight's performance, I'd like to share these lines by Naomi Shihab Nye from her poem For Refugees. They have not stopped being young. They want to play soccer, to pet the small animals. They want to wear new clothes and not be ashamed. They want to walk somewhere safely, holding hands. Some of them still believe in luck. A few carry hope the way a child carries a favorite toy. The Freedom Seeker by Ruchira Gupta. Characters: Simi, an Indian girl of 12 years of age; Ammi, her mother; Jose, her friend, 12 years of age; Sophie, a case manager; Paul, a case manager. From India to Mexico, from the Saguaro Desert to across the border to the land of free, the freedom seeker Simi dreams of a safe haven. With her Abu and her Ammi, she left behind her grandparents and friends in India, but the stories she grew up with, she kept them close. Simi, a girl of 12, the freedom seeker, dreams.
Once upon a time, a princess was locked in a tower surrounded by a garden and a moat. The evil king, her captor, wanted to marry her, but she did not want to marry him. But he had one weak spot. He loved betting, so the princess decided to challenge him to a bet. She said, "I bet I can solve any puzzle you give me." The king, intrigued, gave her a small box with a maze inside of it. There was a silver ball. The challenge was to push the ball out of the hole at the end of the puzzle. She moved the ball to the left, and it rolled into the center. She moved the ball to the right, and it hit a wall. Perplexed, the princess grew increasingly annoyed. She almost broke the puzzle by stomping on it. Frustrated, the princess went out into the garden and saw a butterfly sitting on a rose. It went from one petal to the other flower, moving throughout the entire garden. She saw the pathways of the trees, the shrubs, the butterflies, and many colored flowers. Flowers make me dance. She went back to the puzzle, and this time, she decided to look at the entire maze instead of just the ball. In a minute, she found a path for the ball to roll out of the maze. Ew. It's a story my Abu read to me many times, and I just can't quite remember the moral of the story, because now I'm dreaming, and slowly it looks like it's becoming a nightmare, and now I'm running. Wolves are chasing me. Stay in the shadows. Stay in the shadows. A voice is whispering, but I just can't quite make it out. I turn around and they're not wolves. They're coyotes. Someone is pushing me, shaking me.
It's time to go, Simi. It's 4 a.m. Wash up, put on your clothes. I packed everything. I'll wait in the mess hall. We have to follow their directions. I know it's been a long journey, but we must keep going.
Thank God my mother is with me. Ami, I'll be there soon, Ami. We eat very quickly, and suddenly we've been asked to gather our things and climb into a beat-up van. I try and pack my backpack, but there isn't enough space for my books, so I replace them with water bottles. They tell me we need lots of water when we get to the desert. I'm sweating under layers of cottons and scarves because the desert is also cold. Ami and I get into the van, and I sit next to Jose. Jose? He's a friend I made on our journey to here. It's already been a long journey. But Jose tells me now the toughest part begins. Jose tells me...
Sawara, we'll be crossing the desert on foot when this van drops us off. Somewhere. No way to know where. Saguaro can grow 50 feet and live 200 years. Here and there, coyotes. They're silent, fast, and hungry.
There's 8 of us and a baby. And before we know it, the van drops us off. No time to stop. Cacti cuts our skin. Sand pulls at our shoes.
Simi! Did you see that?
No.
The driver is gone. No, we keep walking. He said the desert is a devil. The desert eats people. Coyotes and snakes and men who can change. Stay in the shadows, Simi. Stay together.
There's a baby that's been crying. So my Ami tries to help the baby and the mother. And then the drivers with us leave us halfway. Oh, I can taste the blood and salt on my lips. I kept walking. Walking with legs aching, mouth dry. And suddenly I'm alone in a storm of dust. Where is Ami? Where's Jose? Did I lose my way? Did they? What is a dream and what is reality? I'm no longer sure. I'm going along this journey, and I don't know where I'll wake up next. I remember the story of the princess locked in a tower who had a puzzle to solve. So she went to the garden, and then she saw the paths of the trees and the flowers and the shrubs and the butterflies. Where are the butterflies? Where are the trees? Where are the flowers? I remember what Abu said. The moral of the story. Look at the big picture. Always look at the big picture. The big picture. I'm fading. I'm walking. I'll keep walking. I have a puzzle to solve. I'm fading. I'm walking. I'll keep walking. There's a big picture. Always. I'm fading. I'm walking. I'll keep walking. There's a big picture. Always. Of Ami and Abu and us safe. That is our big picture. I'm fading. I'm walking. I'm walking. And then a song in my memory. A song my grandparents used to sing to me. A prayer. I need a prayer. I think I need a prayer. meant. I have come so far on this journey, seeking the protection of your sanctuary. I have come so far on my feet, seeking the protection of your sanctuary.
Good morning. Glad to see you're okay. Your fever broke. I will take you to the agent, Paul, when you are fully awake. He needs a few questions answered.
Good morning? A woman is asking me questions. I remember her vaguely. She was there when I fainted with a fever, before they brought me to this place. They said I was an
unaccompanied minor.
But I'm not. My mother was with me. She was separated from me in the desert. She might be here. I need to find her. We need to find her. If you could help me,
Have
please.
you heard of the zero tolerance policy?
No, I haven't.
Children who cross the border into the U.S. will be separated from their parents and kept in different places. Eventually, both will be sent back to their country. It is supposed to be a deterrent.
What's a deterrent?
It's to keep foreigners out of America.
America? I'm here. I don't remember how I got here. I remember you, Sophia. Why is it so cold here? Can you help me find my mother?
This is not how the system works. Part of the procedure is that Paul here will ask you questions.
Questions? More questions?
Paul, would you please explain to her where we are and what her next steps will be? Be patient. She's scared and a little disoriented.
Do you know where you are?
Not really.
You are in Casa Phoenix.
Casa Phoenix?
It's a shelter contracted by the ORR for more than 400 children, just like you.
400 children? All separated from their parents? It can't be. Not in America. What's ORR, sir?
Office of Refugee Resettlement. It's a U.S. government department.
How long will I be here? My father lives here in New York. I can go to him and free up space for you. I can save you from all that work.
No, not so fast. First, you verify your age. That could take a couple of
A
weeks.
couple weeks?
A couple of weeks.
May I speak to my father? On the phone, at least? Please?
Until your age is verified, you cannot speak to your sponsor.
He is not my sponsor, sir! He is my father! He has told me stories that have kept me alive. He left because he was beaten and threatened back home. He said we and he would be safe here. So he came out here. He said we would be safe here. He lives in New York. He works in New York, and we are a happy family. And we were going to meet him. My Ami said that there was no other way.
Let me finish. Before placing you with a vetted sponsor, the ORR will do background checks, fingerprinting of the sponsor, and, in some cases, a home visit. We will need documents.
Documents?
Documents, birth certificates to verify relationships. And then there's a screening. And if there are no documents...
And if there are no documents?
No documents, of course.
And if there
no
are
documents.
no documents?
We investigate deeper. Once the sponsor, your father, is verified, then there's the discharge plan. Then the travel arrangements. Maybe you'll need to be escorted with guards. Maybe we need to keep an eye on your father before you can meet him. It all depends.
How can my Abu reach me?
He will get an A code.
An A code? What is an
An
A code?
alien code. So we can track you in the system. So you see, it's easy for parents to track their children.
Easy? Of course. Easy. So easy.
Good! You understand.
Would he know to ask for the A code?
Next, you're dismissed. We'll get to the rest when you have contact with the sponsor.
I want to scream! And I remember I need to stay. I need to wait. I need to wait. I need to wait. I need to wait. I need to remember the big picture of Abu and Ami, us, safe. Will there be a way for us in America?
So what you saw just now was a short excerpt of the book, The Freedom Seeker. And I would like to now invite Ruchira Gupta, who is the writer of the book, and we will take questions. And I will also be asking questions, so please feel free to ask away. Thank you for bringing us the story of the Freedom Seeker, which follows Simi's path. And like I said, in your books, I've noticed that it's the young protagonists that are the main characters. With all the dialogue that's happening out there, why did you choose that? Because these are, as people would say, complicated times with many legal languages and political things, but you focus on the younger narrators, younger main characters. So would you please share with us?
Before I share, I want to thank Shubhra for making my book come alive as I was seeing it like sort of jump out of the pages. And to the three actors and the musician who were on stage, they just did magic, you know. I really felt Simi was there. And, Paul was awful. And the drumming was scary. So thank you, all of you. Really, such a great job.
I just wanted to introduce them. I did not give their names. Sage Gunning played Simi.
Why don't you come on stage for a second? So at least everyone knows your names.
Yeah, and Raghu Rayadurg played several characters.
Come in front.
And I was so
Come in
lucky
front, Raghu.
to be able to be connected to Natalia Perlaza, who brought the excerpt alive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Simi is a 12-year-old girl, and she is growing up in a loving family in Chandigarh, India. She has four grandparents, two from each side. One set of grandparents are Muslim, and the other is a Sikh grandfather married to a Hindu grandmother. And Simi's parents are interfaith. Her father is Sikh and her mother is Muslim. And all of them celebrate all the festivals together, eat each other's food, and Simi's growing up with a lot of love. She is the captain of a hockey team in school. She has friends. But of course, this is against the rise of intolerance in India. So there's a school bully who teases her for being half Muslim, calling her a Paki. And then, of course, there are men who come almost to her house, inside her house, and threaten her parents for being an interfaith couple. One day, when the whole family is celebrating, they throw this rock through the window, saying ban marriage between Hindu Sikh man and Muslim woman. And slowly the situation becomes so serious that her father has to seek political asylum in America and becomes a taxi driver here. And Simi and her mother are left behind, and her mother is still Muslim in this backdrop of rising intolerance. So they have to try to come too, but they're refused visas here. And they end up paying these smugglers called coyotes to bring them into America through Mexico, through the Arizona desert. And the story really begins, it's about Simi told from her point of view as a 12-year-old seeking home and safety. That's all she wants, which all 12-year-old girls want. And she's crossing the desert, she's crossing barbed wire fences, she's parched, she's thirsty. She and her mother are walking, and then they're separated by these coyotes. And Simi has to learn how to navigate all of this, a foreign country, a desert, loneliness, missing her parents. And she makes friends with another boy called Jose, who's from Honduras, and he is fleeing gang warfare. And how these two children then take on the detention camp and the shelter and the bureaucracy to finally look for her father, who's a taxi driver in Queens. And I don't want to give the plot away about what else happens, but the reason I wrote this book from the point of view of 12-year-old Simi was because very often we ignore what is happening to children by sort of invisibilizing it. And because of that, we don't really see the impact of issues on children. Right now, in our world, there are about 50 million child refugees, who have fled war, who have fled climate change, who are fleeing religious intolerance, so many different things across the world. In America, which has the largest number, we have 16 million children who are living with at least one immigrant parent. And right now, they are scared. You heard about zero tolerance and deterrent and separation and all of that. They are scared that either they will be deported or a loved one will be deported. And they are more scared because nobody's sharing information with them. We think that, if we don't tell children what's going on, then we protect them. But actually, we confuse them. And I thought that children need to know what's happening to their friends or to themselves. This is happening in such a large scale. So that's why I decided to write the story from the point of view of a 12-year-old, because it's happening to so many. So this book is for anyone from age 8 to 800, I say, but it's told from the point of view of a 12-year-old.
And like I was saying before we began, that you had gone to the Sonora Desert in Arizona. Can you share your experience of what that, why you made that decision to make that trek, and what did you see there, and what did you bring back that helped with the storytelling also?
So when I wrote The Freedom Seeker, one of the things which the reason why I wrote The Freedom Seeker, and I thought this is an issue that I need to write about, was that I read 2 articles in newspapers in the space of a few months. One was about a Punjabi mother and daughter actually crossing the Arizona desert. And the mother and the daughter were separated, and the border guards later found the remains of the 6-year-old girl. And the father was a taxi driver in Queens. So that got me thinking that what was the desperation? Why was this family crossing? And then I found they were just a middle-class family in Chandigarh, but they needed to be together. And the 3rd largest number of migrants to the United States are actually Indians, both legal and illegal. And many of them are languishing in jails, some are seeking political asylum. So this was something unknown to me. And then while I was doing my research, another story came of a Gujarati family crossing into America from Canada and freezing to death because they came in the dead of winter in saris and chappals. And of course, again, this made me think about the desperation. And then I began to dig further, and I found that desperation was discrimination, it was religious intolerance, it was economic hardship based on discrimination, caste, class, race, not race, but caste and class and religion for sure. So then the story began to come alive, but it wasn't enough, because I had to go and see these prisons, where kids were being kept, where women were being kept. I had to go and experience what the desert was like. Like, why would someone cross the desert? Why did this mother go off to look for water? What does being thirsty in a desert mean? What does it mean walking in the sand? What did these barbed wire fences look like that people were trying to find their way through? So I spent time in Arizona in the desert, and I think you saw a loop of some of the pictures. I'm not sure. Right now it's not there, but it'll come again, I'm sure. And I saw again. The thing is, this book is really about kindness and community and courage, because at every step of the way, when Simi tries to find a way forward, she doesn't do it alone. She's just a 12-year-old, but somebody is kind to her, and somebody gives her courage and strength, and she builds community as she goes along. So I saw this first in the desert. I saw people talking through the barbed wire fences on two sides of the same street, divided by a barbed wire. So they were sitting like literally like you and me, and a barbed wire between us. And then they were looking at each other, so people were sharing flowers and food and gossip through the barbed wire fences. In the desert, I saw Catholic missionaries who'd left water in small bottles, in case people needed it, immigrants. I met people in the town of Nogales and Tucson and other places who said we actually welcome immigrants because they're helpful for our economy, and they also provide labor when we need it, and so we let them take a shower, and most importantly, they are human, they are people, so we give them a change of clothes, and they said we are fine, the system is taking decisions up there. And so I wanted to bring that out in my book. And in my book, there are no bad guys except the coyotes who are really bad. Everybody is somehow caught in the system. So even the border guard in the detention camp is kind to Simi. He goes and plays a board game with her because he remembers his daughter back home. And this gives her a little bit more of courage and the desire to carry on. The nurse in the infirmary shares a little information with her, which again is so important because she's seen as a person. And these are the things which help her carry on. Immigration officer lets her keep a leaf from a tree back home. So I also wanted to highlight that there are kind people out there, and Simi is making friends and community as she goes along. And even when her mother is found, she can't come back to New York because she's undocumented. So there's a caravan of mothers, and all this is based on true stories, who bring her back in small stretches, shifting her from one car to the other, all the way from Arizona to New York. So people can do, we are feeling, all of us, very daunted right now. And we are thinking that, this is too overwhelming and we can't do anything and I have to do my job. But within where you are, you can do something. Just be a little bit kinder and you'll start noticing how many more acts of kindness you can do. And it sounds very banal, but actually it's very practical. And build community. Don't wait for the system or someone from above to come and help us. I think we have to do what we can where we are right now. So this book is also about that.
I want to ask you something as an artist, because you are an activist and you are an artist. So what do you have to say to artists who want to be activists and activists who want to be creative and get their message out, participate by being creative? So I think you've lived it. So I would love to know.
My whole journey also began with storytelling. I was a journalist who ended up making a documentary on sex trafficking, and I couldn't walk away from the problem. So when I won an Emmy, I decided to leverage the Emmy not to build a career in journalism, but to make a difference. So I turned the documentary into a road show and said, it's won an Emmy, and then showed it at the UN, in the US Senate, all across the villages of Nepal and Thailand and places, to change laws and also to help families understand what's going on. And I started an NGO also as a result of understanding the problem, to get girls from red light areas into school and women linked to documents and bank accounts and start new lives. But I didn't know when I was doing it that art could lead to change. It's only in hindsight now, 30 years later, that I can see that storytelling makes an impact in a way which we don't understand, but it gets under people's skin. Like I might have given like a very fancy speech with lots of data to the UN delegates and maybe not move them as easily, or to the US Senate, but the documentary, the way I spoke about what's happening to one little girl. And it's the same thing with the freedom seeker. Like, I can tell you 16 million children living with an immigrant parent, but if I tell you there's a little girl who's looking to find her father, who's looking to find her mother, does not want to leave her school, is the hockey captain, we feel something for that girl. So I think it's really, really important to use our art to be able to communicate with each other. And once we communicate, there's definitely an empathy, and empathy leads to action, which is very different. Because what it does is that very often data makes us plan from a place of fear. Oh, this is happening and the problem is too daunting, and in so many years the world will disappear, climate change, etc. But what storytelling does is it humanizes things, and it makes us plan from a place of hope. And when you plan from a place of hope, you can expand your world. When you plan from a place of fear, you shrink your world. So your options actually become less. And so it's not even practical. And so I think that's what art can do. It can help people plan from a place of hope. It can help people humanize a problem which may seem very large and daunting. And artists are anyway have more sensitivity than most other human beings. They are creative, they can express better, so they can bring all that to things which are invisible. Sometimes people, like immigrants, can't come forward today, right, to speak about what fear they are living under. But the four artists who were on stage today, they amplified the voices of these people. When when Raghu was saying zero tolerance, I was shaking, and so each thing is scary, but also humanizing at the same time, and that's what art does.
I have one more question. How would you like people to engage with you if they want to know more about your work or work with you, invite you, or do more events for books or anything? Like how can they do that?
So, I just think first of all, I'm going to plug the book. So I want you all to buy the book, because it's like a message in a bottle. Read it and then share it with someone else, because this way we break the silence, we share the story, we humanize the problem. When the other side is trying to criminalize, we are trying to humanize. So please do that. And secondly, I run an NGO called Apne, and we take volunteers all the time. And we take volunteers who do all kinds of things, from NYU students who come and help us with research or data entry, to the actors today, who acted, gave voice to the issue, and we are thinking of doing more with art. So Shubhra and I have a lot of plans about that, and stay tuned. But one of the people that I do want to mention before we wrap up the conversation or go into Q&A is Ram Devineni, who's right here filming the whole thing. He produced something called the Priya comics, and I collaborated with him on that. And those comics, which spoke about the horror of rape and the horror of sex trafficking and acid violence and all of that, they found like 500,000 viewers across the world. So art can be used in so many ways to reach places we cannot. And it's really important for us to be able to collaborate across disciplines, because people will tell us to stick to your lane. Like even that's what these religious bigots were telling Simi's family. If you're Muslim, you stay Muslim. If you're Hindu, you stay Hindu. What is this marriage and who is this child, right? But there are shared spaces, and that's what the Bowery Poetry Club has created today, and Bob has. So we need to keep creating. It's an act of resistance to create shared spaces.
Thank you so much, Ruchira. If anyone has any questions, or please.
Could you please give the name of your nonprofit you just mentioned?
It's called Apne, and
I'm sorry?
like up and up.
Oh, you.
Apne. And put your name, there's a sign-up sheet there as well. So if you all put your email down, then we're going to do a raffle for the book. And 3 people from those emails will get a free signed copy.
Or also the open mic.
Yeah, the open mic will be right here. The rap
All
will
right.
happen.
Oh, there you go. More chances. Yes, please. Yeah.
I'm like, what's the next stage with this performance? Are we going to see a full, like the whole book turned into a play and have it produced? Because I like the story, it really brought us to this space.
I think that we would want that, and we will definitely be working on figuring out what we can do, and we don't have any definite answers about that right now. So just putting this up was a lot of fun to do, and it was really nice to talk to everyone in the process and figure things out. So yeah, I'm really glad that you were thinking about that. So hopefully we can do that. Yeah, I would love to.
And we are taking the book to schools and from mid-grade schools to school libraries. And, I'm going to tell them we are recording the whole performance today. And hopefully we can, this is just like the seed of an idea, and we can make it better and more meeting the moment, which we are trying to do by making the stories come alive. So we are hoping to turn it into a road show, but we don't know how, and we'll figure it out as we go along.
Oh yes, there's Meghna.
Yeah, no question. First of all, thank you so much. Such an inspiring message and such an inspiring effort and life and everything you've done. It's really amazing. My question is, being a documentarian and having seen, the powerful impact of your film, what made you choose? I think you kind of alluded to that, but if you could share a little bit more about what made you choose, writing as a medium, the story, and do you believe that would have the same kind of social impact that your previous work had?
It's hard to say what impact anything you do will have. Only time shows that. But I have to do it as if it matters. And so I do everything with my full passion and heart. And so that's what I did with The Selling of Innocence, my documentary, which is available to watch on my website for free, ruchiragupta.com. So you can go there and see it. But also, this is my second book. The first one is called I Kick and I Fly, and that's about a 14-year-old girl called Hira who's about to be sold into prostitution. And she escapes by becoming a kung fu champ and finally busting an Indo-US trafficking ring in Queens. So, my stories are adventure stories. I do call them social justice adventures because I always tackle an issue, but I do it with hope and courage and very fast-paced. As you could see, even from the tension building up in the little enactment that we had here. And my whole life is as an activist. I call myself even an activist author. Why did I use writing? Because I've been a bookworm since age 7, when I suddenly discovered that I could see, because my eyesight was weak and I didn't know, and I couldn't see the blackboard, and then the teacher found out and I got glasses. And the world began to come alive after that. And also I grew up in a Gandhian socialist household where, nobody asked me what would I be. They would ask each other all the time, how are you going to make a difference? So that was the value system I grew up in. And I found my own life like a social justice adventure. So I want to share that with people because it's quite a fun life.
I just wanted to know, how long did it take you to write the book, like the overall from research to actually writing?
So I would say the writing part, I write fast because I was a journalist. That took me, 8 or 9 months. But research took me also 8 or 9 months, right? So it takes you almost 2 years from when the idea enters your head, at least me, to finishing the book. And then we took another year, with the editor, because she had to sit on it, she had to think about it. We had to cut out chunks of it to make it a little shorter for 12-year-olds. And so, then there's editing, there's proofreading and all of that. So I would say the whole process was about 2.5 years, 3 years maybe.